Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here we come on chapter 3. You already did the homework, or if you not did, you can do the homework with me now. We talk here about comparative and superlative adjectives. So, comparative and superlative, what is this again? We already studied that in grade 4, so we repeat here in grade 5. And we study here something more about comparative and superlative. So now, first, what is comparative? Comparative is come from the word compare. We compare two things with each other. So, as example, we go here for you on Google. I open Google for you, and we go here, compare. So as example, we have here a picture from an apple, and compare these apples with each other. Comparative. So the word comparative is we compare two things with each other. So we can go on Google, and there we find a lot of comparative words. So when we have here as example comparative and superlative, it means we compare two things with each other. So here we have the words loud. To change an adjective into comparative, we have to add on er. So short adjectives have one or two syllables. Remember what is a syllable by the clapping, when we clap, clap, clap. So as example, pretty. Pretty has two syllables. Beautiful. Beautiful has three syllables. So remember the clapping about the syllables. So short adjectives have one or two syllables, such as loud or pretty. We add on IED. So also here we have the word pretty, the end word is on Y. We have to change the Y into an IE and add on the R. So IER, pretty, prettier. Comparative is louder, prettier, from the adjective loud and pretty. So all words that have more than one syllable, we add on the word more in front. So in the front comes the word more, then we have here the word interesting. Should we write interesting? When we write it interesting, we have four syllables. But in speaking, we say interesting. So we have three syllables. So more interesting. And then we have two words under than. So more interesting than. This book is more interesting than that book. So the opposite, more, is less. So we have there the opposite is less. The opposite means she is less beautiful than this girl. He is less handsome. No, handsome actually yeah, less handsome we can say, but he handsomer. Handsome, more handsome. Handsomer is not really a word that goes over my tongue, so I would say there more handsome. So but other words like with two syllables, we can use always the er or more or less. Okay, so here's example. That book is less interesting than this book. The superlatives, what we have here as example, is here. the add-on of est. Also again, we delete the y and add on iest. So loud goes into the loudest. Pretty goes into the prettiest. We don't change the ending of adverbs with 3 or more syllables. We put most before the adjective. Same as example here, the most beautiful. The least, the most, and the least. Less, least. So and then we come here to something new. We will also study as and not as. As and not as. If two people or things are equal, equal means the same tall, same short, same big. If two things or two people are equal, same, we use as. When they are not equal, we say not as. So as example, we have here a band, music, a band that plays music. This band is as loud as the last band. Both bands are equally loud. And then we have here the next one. London is not as big as Cairo. That means London is smaller and Cairo is bigger. So London is not as big as Cairo. Here's your exercise, what you made in home. The adjective, the comparative, and the superlative. So here's your homework. So comparative, to complete the table. Adjective, comparative, and superlative. So the adjectives here, the pure adjective would be here. Thin, not thin. Thin, pretty, interesting, easy, beautiful, big, exciting, and high. The comparative of this here is thin goes into thinner, prettier, more interesting, easier, more beautiful, bigger, more exciting, higher. Into the superlative, the thinnest, the prettiest, the most interesting, the easiest, the most beautiful, the biggest, the most exciting, the highest. So here downstairs we have an exercise we have to do now together. So first we have to compare. So we have here, look at the table and read the sentence, true or false. Write the T or write the F. So T would be the sentence is correct. Yes, it is true what is written there. The F would be false, is no, is not true. This is not the right. So we have here the streamers, sparklers, fairy lights, and balloons. Here we have the price. So we have here as example, this is pounds. We say it can be but 2. And beautiful, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, and 2 star. And safe. Safe means cannot have an accident. So safe, the streamers, the sparklers are very unsafe because you can burn your hands. The fairy tales are also not 100% safe, but the balloons are the safest. So the sparklers are cheaper than the streamers. The sparklers, how much is the sparklers? 4.50, and the streamers are 3.80. So this is not true. So here come automatic the F. On number 2, the balloons are more beautiful than the fairy lights. So we have here the beautiful. Then we have here the balloons have 2 stars and the fairy lights have 3 stars. So this is also not correct. So here also come an F. So it's not as beautiful. The streamers are the least beautiful. The streamers are the least beautiful. So we have here 1 star. So this is a true. So it would be true. On number 4, the fairy lights are as cheap as the balloons. The fairy lights are as cheap as the balloons. No, it's not correct because the fairy lights are more expensive than the balloons. So we give here also again an F. The sparklers aren't as safe as the balloons. So the sparklers aren't as safe as the balloons. This is correct because they are not as safe. So we have there on number 5. On number 5 we come here a T, true. Then we have here the fairy lights are as beautiful. The fairy lights are the most beautiful. Is this correct? Yes, have 3 stars, so it's also true. So number 6 is true too. Number 7, the streamers are the least expensive. The streamers are the least expensive. So the streamers we have here 4.50, but here is something cheaper, so this also is false. The fairy lights are as safe as the streamers. The fairy lights are as safe as the streamers. So number 8 we have here the fairy lights. We have 2, and the streamers we have also 2. So this answer is true. This statement is true. Number 9. The balloon are as safe as the streamers. Balloon 3 and the streamers 2. No, is not. So we go here on the F. The balloons are the most expensive. The balloons are the most expensive. No, it's not correct. The most expensive are the fairy lights. So also this here is a F. So on number 3, we compare with the table above. Complete the sentence. Use comparative or superlative adjectives. So we have here the fairy lights are expensive. So here they are the most. So we have there the most expensive. The most expensive. On the next one, we have here the streamers are the fairy lights safe. So we have there the streamers has 2 and the fairy lights has 2, so they are equal, they are the same. So remember we said before the streamers are safer than the fairy lights. The streamers are safer. Oh, sorry. No, there is a mistake. Okay. The streamers are as the fairy lights because the streamers are as safe as the fairy lights. So we have there fairy lights and the streamers. Fairy lights and the streamers. As safe as. As safe as. Okay. Then we go on the next one. The fairy lights are what we have here, the most. The fairy lights are the most beautiful. And then we have the balloons are expensive. The balloons are the least expensive. The expensive. The least expensive, because they are the cheapest. 383, the least expensive. Then we have sparklers aren't. The sparklers aren't as the balloons. So the sparklers have only one. The balloons have three. So we write there, the sparklers aren't as safe as. Aren't as safe as the balloons. And the last one what we have here, the balloons are cheap. So we have there, remember, superlative, the cheapest. Okay. So finish this work here on this page. And in our next lesson, we go here on the grammar front under the number 4 on page number 22. Okay, this was for today. Thank you very much for watching. Talk to you soon again.